Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way to read. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way to read. The Rick is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
What's happening, y'all? It's that time, man. It's 8:30. It's time for Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And Ask a Cop won't be here tonight, so I'm only gonna say it once or twice. There you go.
So listen, man. While y'all, everybody that's looking at this right now, that means you are on YouTube. You are where you are supposed to be. There's a heart button, especially if you're on your cell phone. If you're not on your cell phone, go ahead and get your cell phone while you're looking at it on your computer, your tablet, your TV, and there's a little heart button over there to the right. Hit that button. Once you hit that button, there's going to be a whole bunch of little emoticons come up. Once that comes up, I need you to hit those buttons because when you hit those, it's going to help our
algorithm
go up. Plus, I need for y'all to go over to TikTok because we doing things, big things over at TikTok right now. See, we done wrecked up Facebook and got on up out of there. We're doing our thing on YouTube, but right now we are invading the Talksters.
Talksters.
After I said that, I had to Talksters. Yeah, okay, we can work with that. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So we need for you to go on over to TikTok, Classic Conversations, as with K's. Go on over there and get that followed. I'm going to have an interesting show tonight, man. It's a little different. We're trying to help you folks out with your future and also probably your financial portfolios from what I'm hearing. Angelo, how you doing, dog?
Hey, listen, I'm good, brother. What did you say? What was that word you used a minute ago?
Talksters.
No.
Oh,
you said
the devils.
No, you said something about go there and help you pull up your meat.
Emoticons.
Yeah, what was that? That's a real word?
Yeah. I'm old, man.
Okay.
I'm old.
I've been lost ever since then.
And I'm flustered. I'm flustered too. I'll tell you why I'm flustered in a minute. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. How's it going, bro?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good, man. We're coming off a great week.
Yeah.
You and I were honored on Thursday night, man. Shout outs again to Dr. Cindy and that foundation, man. The Presidential Award was really dope. The program's really dope. It was long, but it was dope.
Congratulations to you.
And congratulations to you, sir.
Appreciate that.
Did I had the privilege of joining Brother Cedric Hill and these fine gentlemen on this platform on a really, really cool experience this weekend at the that business conference, National Black. What's the proper word? National Black Business. Oh, I was right the first time. But yeah, met some really cool people, man. It's a really good day, man. I saw our brother Markel Russell was on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
He had a thing. I sat in on his session, man. It was really, really dope. But the whole thing was really cool, man. Got to meet some cool people. Met the great granddaughter of Booker T. Washington, which is that's just history by itself, right? You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it was real good, man. Had a good time. Shout outs to Brother Cedric Hill, man, for doing what you do, man. He's here tonight. He likes to stay in the backdrop. It's funny how you say he don't like to talk, but
But then you ask him a question. You're like, oh, dog.
But yeah, but good stuff, man.
Hey, before we get the intro, to give a shout out to my offspring, man. He is celebrating his Kobe year. He's 24 today.
Wow.
He is serving gracefully over in the UK with the United States Air Force. So, hey, kid, I told him I was going to talk about him tonight, but I'm sure, like I said, he's 5 hours ahead. He's probably asleep. But anyway, happy birthday,
Happy
kid.
birthday, man.
Love you big time, and majorly proud to be able to call you my son and you to be able to call me dad.
It's crazy. I see these kids be hanging out at the flag football field with us, man. And these guys are grown men.
Now they grown.
It's crazy.
Yeah, just you happy about it, but at the same time, it really shows how long you've been living yourself.
Yeah, it's dope.
That is true. Or how long you got left.
How about that?
Usually less than what you've been here.
Right.
So that's why you have to enjoy each day. You know, now I ain't gonna say it like your last, but you have to enjoy each day and make sure that you're smiling with it. So as Angelo said, man, he Rand said is always bringing us around some good people. He's always bringing some good guests to come through on the show. So we have Larry. Oh, and also people. I didn't get the memo, as you can see as you're gonna see the gentlemen there. You know, their collared shirts on and everything.
We didn't get the memo either.
I didn't get the memo. So it's we're gonna do this thing anyway. So up here we have.
But Larry can tell you why he does it. He told me about this weekend, so that was a really good story, by the way.
The man, hey, I told him.
I was listening.
I said it, dude. Say, hey man, it's my uniform. I said,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Larry, how you doing,
Go to
bro?
work. I'm great.
Hey,
Great.
man.
I'm blessed.
Hey, go on and introduce yourself, man. Let people know a little bit of what you do. You can go ahead and drop out some social media out there real quick.
Absolutely. My name is Larry Yon. You can find me on LinkedIn at Larry Yon II. You can find me on Instagram at the Larry Yon II.
Yon is Y-O-N.
Y-O-N.
Yep.
The Asians, the more Asian side of Yon, not Young.
He got a sidekick with him. Like the jacket, everything when it came in. So, brother, dress is sharp. Then he sat down. I sat down, and he actually asked me if I was from North Carolina because I had my hat on. And I told him that I was a diehard Tar Heel, and
It went left from there.
blasphemy. The man actually, not only is he a Duke fan, he went to Duke. I just can't believe I said that word twice. Can't believe I said that word twice. And on top of that, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan too.
Oh man, all the greatest things in the world.
That's where he lost me at.
Our producer said we might have to switch seats, but I don't know. He might just have to leave. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother.
Go on, introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Kendrall Felder. Larry and I are partners in our business Cyber Alliance. My social media, LinkedIn is Kendrall Felder. I'm the only one in the world you'll ever meet. That's Kendrall. And then on Instagram, my hashtag is the Kendrall Felder. So that's where you can find me online. But just to make things sweeter for you, I'm actually a 2-time Duke graduate. I got my MBA from there as well. So we're gonna have us a time tonight, my brother.
Can we cuss on this pod?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he fucking with you?
Absolutely. I'm gonna twist it a little bit tonight.
That's hilarious.
So many things I could say, but I'm gonna digress for the time being. Oh, there's so much.
Oh, hey, Frank is over here shaking in his booty. He discussed it too.
I know he is. Frank, bro, I'm boiling for you, man. I understand.
I'm gonna make you more mad. I'm gonna say this our year for the Cowboys.
But you've been saying that. You've been saying that most of your life.
You've been saying that for the last 30 years.
Hey, man.
Have you seen the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders that was cheerleading the last time that y'all?
Ooh, they drawing Social Security, ain't it?
It's only like 3 of them left. There's about 3 of them left. That's about it.
It's
That's
been
about
some
it. But listen, we got, like I said, we're gonna have a great show. Also, we don't like to end the show on anything somber. This is not somber, but I need for you to make sure that you're still praying for my nephew as he is over there in Kuwait doing his thing. He is in the middle of it, type of deal. So keep your prayers out there for him. I think he's going to be over there for 6 months. They said it might be between 6 and 9 months, something like that. So keep them prayers. Again, happy birthday to my son. Hey man, we ain't heard no updates on yours. What's going on with the?
Hey man, everything is still moving according to plan. School just started. He's doing his thing, bro. He's on. He gets the early release for us because he's doing the college, he's doing that dual enrollment and stuff. So, Aspen's still on track to graduate in a few short months, man. December he'll be a UGA grad. So everything is just me. Don't get me talking, man. I just start smiling.
And the youngest is in what grade right now?
He's a junior in high school.
He probably graduating in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
He probably graduated in a couple of weeks, to be honest with you. You know,
You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. It's all good.
So listen, Larry, we got a couple of minutes. Just give people a brief, just a brief description of what you're doing and what you're gonna give to us tonight.
Yeah, man. So for me, in the last almost 2 decades, I've been helping businesses in the U.S. expand to the continent of Africa, helping businesses in Africa expand here to the U.S. So government work, a lot of it started helping corporations when they were going to Africa and, fucking up. Mm-hmm. And they need someone to help come and do some crisis work for them. But, it kind of grew into really helping businesses expand. So I've had the opportunity to work with kings. I've had the opportunity to work with high net worth individuals, influencers, large corporations, small corporations. But now, we are, really focusing on making sure that from a technology perspective, it lives up to its promise, right? So everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to expand. Technology gives you that promise. We want to make sure you can do it, but do it safely.
And what part of Africa are you spending most of your time in?
Right now, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Senegal, some Kenya, some Nigeria, Uganda. Those are our countries that end up getting the most of our attention.
And I don't think a lot of people, especially our people, recognize that, when you say Africa, I think some of our people still think it's like a jungle.
They do.
I was just having a conversation last night, me and a couple of friends, we was talking about places we wanted to go, and I was like, I want to go to Africa. And I can't remember the movie, but there was a movie with Ice Cube long time ago, and he was in Africa, and he was like downtown Africa, and I was like, yo, that's fire. I want to, visit that. I want to visit Africa. Can't think of the name of it, but it's what introduced me, actually having me seeing that. Yeah, he went to see his brother, actually seeing that side of Africa. When you hear, and a lot of people still do, when they hear of Africa, they think of the pictures from back in the day when people was in the bush and all that type
Flies,
shit.
poverty.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all
Indeed.
they think of. So,
Still Tarzan.
Hopefully with tonight, you can, show people that there's, a lot more there, more reasons to go, other
Absolutely.
than just going back to the motherland. There's now seems like there's a way to go and you can actually make some money with it. So as you heard, we're going to
We'll dive into that.
Yeah, we're going to dive into it. This man has actually worked with some famous people, too. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be, I think you're going to be pleased with it. 3 minutes, and we'll be right back. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And ask a cop one more again. There it is.
Shawnee O'Neal's husband. They had the storms in Houston and everything, and he came up because their church got messed up within the storms. And he's actually asking for, I think it was 400 of his
2,100 people that donate 2,100.
Oh, that was real?
Yes. And
I saw that. I thought it was like a joke.
no, it was not
Get
a joke.
out of town.
And the dude actually
That's Christian,
did it.
yo.
And he actually did it while he was sitting up there in a $920 shirt.
Oh, yeah, it was more than that. It was 2,900. Okay.
And he was asking for his people to give money to redo his church. Now, get this, while he did the video, he was actually at Joel Osteen's church. And I think he's worth $1 billion or something like that, but he didn't ask Joel for any money.
He said that's the church's
church's
money.
All right, folks, we back, man. We back. Listen, like I said, great conversation tonight. If you want to be a part of it, please give us a call, 404-500-1605. We ain't had a phone call in a minute, have we?
Oh, scared. Scared in that
That's
conversation.
crazy. Right? Yeah, so if you got some questions or anything like that, give us a call. I mean, if you want to call in and ask us to talk about something on the next segment, let us know. Oh, boy, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right. All right.
We're gonna forgive him today,
Yeah,
JT.
yeah. All right. Yeah, he's double whamming with me, though, right?
Maybe we'll talk about basketball. So
Yeah.
So,
NBA. We'll talk about NBA.
So yeah, Kendrall. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm talking to a Duke and a Cowboy fan at the same time. That's the first time I met one of those.
Don't get much better.
Two-ply.
No, you might be right about that.
Yeah, two-ply. I don't think
Not both of them.
Yeah, just.
Special type, man.
Yeah.
That's your thoughts on Kyrie Irving later. But go ahead.
Oh, man. we ain't got enough time for that. We're going to run over on the segments if we go there. Kyrie, my man, though.
All right.
So, but I will ask you this. We was talking about your name earlier. Did your parents ever give you why they added that R in there for you?
Actually, it was my aunt who ended up naming me. Okay. And there was no real justification behind it. It was just a name that was kind of made up. But it stuck over the years. And the irony of it is I actually have a junior. And I shit you not, nobody ever mistakes him for a female, right? And everybody always understands him when he says the name the first time. So it's like, boy, this name was made for you, not me, apparently. But, it's one of those things where it's cool to be a bit unique in that regard.
Oh, yeah. So that's your part, for sure.
Yeah, sure is. It really is unique. Larry, so go ahead and get into the meat of it. Exactly what it is that you're doing, and
But start from the beginning, though. Not just what you're doing. How did you get started, particularly in the decision to do Africa? But tell us about your background of business and what led to.
So my background was in strategy. I was the managing partner of the oldest black-owned global strategy consulting firm in the country. My former business partner was the founder of Minority Business. He developed the executive order under Richard Nixon, of all people.
Wow.
They started the Minority Business Enterprise Program in the U.S. So all of the diversity stuff that we talk about now, all of the organizations that support black businesses in particular, were started under Richard Nixon. So I led his international department. That side of the house kind of fell under me. So all of our work helping businesses expand to the continent of Africa fell under me. All of our strategy work, all of our crisis work fell under me. So that's really where I got involved. I started off, one of my first projects was with the late Winnie Mandela on the continent of in South Africa, and King Zwelithini, which was the king of the Zulus. So those were one of my first clients in South Africa. So, young black kid, beard, in the U.S., never had any exposure to Africa at all, still grew up with the same idea that everybody else had, that it was about poverty, and I went over there and saw something completely different. So kind of opened my eyes. I got to be able to speak to legends and get their perspective of what's happened on the continent and in South Africa specifically over time, and also got, good, and also was able to be able to value to them. I mean, that was, in those scenarios, you don't get there if you're not bringing value. So, part of my life has always been about bringing value to valuable people. So, being able to solve problems for them was really where I got started.
So listen, we can't overlook the two names you dropped, because that's super dope. So how was that the first time though? Young black man from, where you from again?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
A small town. Less than 1,000 people.
Going to South Africa and having the opportunity to work with Winnie Mandela, who's historic in every sense of the word, and then the King of the Zulus. I mean, this is not the norm or conversation for a young black man from North Carolina.
It's not. And
so tell me what that experience was like.
I greeted her with a hug and I greeted him with a dap. And I wasn't supposed to do either one. So
that's hilarious.
So I mean, I think they gave me grace of not necessarily knowing.
Yeah.
So they didn't hold it against me. We ended up becoming great friends. The cultural disconnect is so different, right? But being able to feel welcome like that is something that everybody has to feel, right? I think it's one of the most important things, and really why I really started doing this work and committing the way that I did was because I started bringing other black people over. I spent a lot of time bringing white people over and helping them build their businesses and that sort of thing. But it wasn't until I started working with the executives that were black within those companies, those corporations, and I saw their response when they landed on African soil was completely different, right? Completely different. That's why I say everybody should make the trip,
Right.
at least once. Then you make the trip once, you'll probably go back because that feeling of not having that burden of being black, as they call it in the U.S., right? The black tax. You don't really feel it over there, per se, right? I'm not saying it's perfect, but as it relates to that feeling where, it's not as many of you around, it doesn't really exist over there. And I've always been welcome. I've never had to have security except for times that I was with King Zelatini and it was his security. It wasn't mine. but other than that, I go to some of the roughest neighborhoods and townships. They call them projects. They call them townships. We call them projects. They call them townships. I spend time over there. I eat over there. I hang out over there. Dress like this sometimes. So I've never had any trouble or challenge as it relates to that. And I want other people to be able to feel that experience because we do have options and there's a big disconnect. I heard someone say a couple of days ago, and you guys have probably heard the saying that all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? And I think us in the U.S. we keep that pretty, and we keep that as reality,
Sure.
right? And I don't think it is for us in Cyber Alliance. We operate much differently from that perspective, where everybody who's kinfolk actually is kinfolk, right? And we kind of hold it that way, and that authenticity is what gets us past and gets us by in environments where culturally we're going to do things wrong, right? Because, cultures are different. They have a different lifestyle. They have different religions than ours. And, they give us that grace because they are welcome us when we come back.
So go ahead.
I was going to try and let the Blue Devil in. Kendrall, in regards to what you're doing, and go ahead and give us a brief rundown of your status and what you're doing within the
Yeah, no, I
movement.
appreciate that. And before I jump into it too deep, I want to give you brothers a shout out for the award you just won, right? Congratulations. We know how hard it is to build something. We know how hard it is to be successful at it, but to be recognized for it is special, man. So kudos to you guys on the successes.
Appreciate
and then
it.
for getting the kids out of the house, man. I got a 20-year-old daughter, so I know the plight all too well in terms of getting them out and getting them into the world. So I just wanted to give you guys some love on that.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that.
My background's been a bit different than Larry's. I spent most of my past 20 years in the corporate world. Being a first-generation high school graduate, when I came out, I told people early and often I was fortunate to be able to run fast and jump high, right? That gave me opportunities to play football at the next level, and understanding that there was going to be an end to that. I made a point to learn business as early as I could, and not having anyone to sort of set that path for me, I made a mindful effort to take roles at different, blue chip companies, if you will. So worked at places like Procter & Gamble, M&T Bank, RTI International, Cisco Systems. And, at those companies, I did things like, lead brand management teams, 9-figure portfolios in terms of banking. And then at my role at Cisco, oversaw a team that helped the company drive over $1 billion in a couple of years of my work there, and helping foreign regulators write cybersecurity policy standards and regulations. And so, going from that to leading a team of hundreds of engineers, not being a traditionally trained engineer, but, I'm good with the people thing and understanding what's most important, it led to a lot of opportunities for me internally there. But to Larry's point, you do all those things to try to be successful ultimately, but for guys like us, build a legacy, right? Because, we have kids coming behind us. And so, when I was doing a lot of the work that I was at Cisco, I saw the value that we were adding to countries globally. And I called Larry, as you just heard, right? I fucking hate following Larry because he's like, yeah, I was with King such and such and, President this. And I'm like, God damn it, Larry, let me go first next time. But, when I figured out it was something that could be valuable on the global scale, called my brother, chopped it up with him, and, the rest is history, as they say. So, we balance each other out well in that regard.
He's leaving out a part.
Okay.
So our daughters actually were in pre-K in kindergarten.
Oh,
together.
really?
So that's actually where we met.
Oh, wow.
It's actually where we met. You know, funny story. We laugh about it now, but I actually tried to hire him out of Duke, and we went to breakfast. We sat down. We hadn't even, you know, put our orders in yet. He leaned back in his chair and told me how much his salary and his bonus needed to be. So, you know, for me, it was menu closed at that point. And I was like, man, we're not cutting checks that big. So the menu closed, but we remained friends, and we kept talking over time, and we ended up, you know, our paths ended
Full
up crossing.
circle.
So,
Yeah.
and we care about each other's family, man. It's a family business at the end of the day. Everybody who works for us, we care about their families. I mean, we've both been in business long enough where we don't have to do nothing with nobody we don't want to do it with.
Right.
So everybody, and if I can't make a decision that's good for his family, he can't make a decision that's good for my family, then we can't do business, right? And we kind of hold that with everybody we hire, and we have people working for us all over the world.
It's good stuff.
That's a real story, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're from North Carolina?
I'm from North Carolina as well. I
What
actually
part?
grew up in Wilson.
Wilson,
So, you know, you
okay.
talked about being from the east side, man. I thought we was
Yeah.
going to have a connection for a minute.
Yeah, I just have to go through Wilson on my way going to New York. But, you know, I have to correct you on one thing, though, man.
Yep.
Being able to run and jump high to help you play at the next level. You play that Duke. It's not really the next level. No, it's not.
Shots fired.
It's not.
Can we get the shots fired?
Somebody get too carried away with this thing.
Oh, man.
Next level. Wow. I just said that. I'm like, you really know what he said? It's Duke, man.
I had hella offers, though.
So you had options.
I did.
There it is.
There we
Found
go.
it. You found it.
That's what it was right there. That's how it felt anyway.
Bro. No, good stuff, though, bro.
Appreciate it.
He came out trying to get office. He knew he was Duke. He was about to get drafted and nothing like that.
That's awesome.
Nah, good stuff, bro. So in regards to you know, most people are going to be looking at this, going to be thinking about opportunities, how to jump in on something like this. And I think we have about 6 minutes, but you can continue within the next segment. What are you going to give somebody out there that's going to make them want to look at going down this avenue? What you're doing right now, make them think of even a young person that may want to look into a career move or something like that.
That's a good question. I mean, look at us, right? When you think about cybersecurity CEOs or presidents, they don't look like us, right? So it really starts there for us. And we have people that work for us. We have interns that are in high school. We have junior people that are fresh out of college. We have senior people that have been in the business, 30 years that are black, right? So that the misnomer that there's not space for us in this space is a lie, right? Now, it may take a little bit in terms of commitment, but what in life doesn't take commitment? I will say that across the world, there's over 4 million jobs that are available in this industry.
Wow.
And that's just posted jobs, right? If I took you down a rabbit hole of how many people who need cybersecurity people working for them or data privacy people working for them that haven't even asked for people to come work for them, that number's probably double, maybe triple. So the opportunity and the salaries are good, right? So when I say $100,000+ salaries, I mean, those are opportunities that are on the table. And for many of them, you don't have to go to college for. You can get them with certifications, right? So I think that part ends up changing the paradigm of people wanting to get into this space, right? It takes work, but it's possible, and it's available, and it's not going anywhere.
That's interesting because that's what my son was trying to transition to while he's in the Air Force. And one of the reasons why he didn't get out was because he wants to get that training before he gets out into cybersecurity. That's got to make sure he looks at this episode. Got to reach out. Got to reach out. But don't
reach
get
out.
bro.
The reach out part. Don't just look. The reach out.
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, that's. I promise you, when he told me, I was like, "Oh, okay."
What
So
is
you gonna guard the internet? I didn't know what it was. So that's why I think this is gonna a lot. Again, people don't. These are not lanes that's usually spoken about or usually traveled.
Absolutely.
And if they are traveled, people don't really tell that they're traveling that lane. So I think that this, this will do well for a lot of people, especially younger people that's, checking this thing out. And, younger people, of course, because I'm older, but.
Can I weigh in on the point that you're making? And, to my brother Larry's point about the opportunities in the space. I'm going to say for the audience, it's fucking cool to be smart, man. You know what I mean? Like, and the way that the world is going, everything's going to be digital for the most part, right? And when people are accumulating assets and building wealth and building bigger companies, those things are going to be online. So to Larry's point, that 4 million job number doesn't even really reflect what the opportunity is today. And as we know, AI is taking out a lot of the traditional jobs. So that's putting our people in a bind if we're being real about it. So, to his point, whether you're reaching out to us or somebody like us in the cybersecurity space, I would totally recommend that people look into cybersecurity because it gives opportunities to take care of yourself and your families a lot better. So, don't be too cool to get paid.
And don't let people, don't let teachers, direct your kids away from technology, right? When you get down to the reality of it, there isn't going to be very many jobs available that don't have some type of technology aspect to it. Right. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're working for somebody, it doesn't matter. Everybody's leveraging it because people realize that the best way to create things and the best way to get to people is through technology. And if you don't expose your kids to it early, where people say that technology is an equalizer and it provides opportunity, if you don't have access to it and don't use it, it widens the gap. And, technology is unforgiving. It's one of those things that, if you don't know how to cut the computer on, it's just not going to cut on, right? So, I think it's extremely important that we make sure, and we all have kids, that we make sure that we are exposing them to it at an early age because it's going to be everywhere. You can't get around it. Healthcare, agriculture, it doesn't matter what it is, they're leveraging technology.
So, first of all, they do very good clips at the end of all of our shows, and you start off with one that is definitely a clip, and I can't wait till they do that particular clip because I'm gonna definitely have that posted because I love, it's great to be smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and for people to downgrade or make people feel bad for being smart, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how you came out on that. But let me ask this question: why South Africa?
Well,
did you hear his introduction?
I think South Africa, when you are engaging, and I've done work in a lot of different countries, and I love all of them for different reasons.
Okay.
But South Africa, it's probably not the best thing to say, but from a Western perspective, it's pretty similar, right? In terms of industrially, it's pretty similar. Culturally, people on the continent of Africa and South Africa in particular has high cultural affinity for the U.S. So they're going to know about the Cowboys. They're going to know about Duke. They're going to know about music and entertainment just because they're that wrapped up into our culture. So that ends up creating a softer landing, right? Because there's not so much cultural difference because it's easy to have conversation, right? People in South Africa and on the continent of Africa, I find that they know more about us than we know about ourselves. And they know more about us than we definitely know about them, right? So to be able to have those conversations, South Africa was always a place for me too that I could get to see all of Africa, right? As opposed to going to certain places where maybe it doesn't have the infrastructure like South Africa has the infrastructure. But if I want to get pieces of, I want to be in the bush, if I want to be in places where it's undeveloped, I can also get that in the same place. So that's why South Africa always was a special place for me when I take people over, because it's one of the places where I can get them to see everything, and get, as opposed to going to some places where, like I said, it's maybe not as developed and they don't see the other parts of the possibilities on the continent.
Copy that.
All right, well, listen, y'all, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Angela's going to go over some of the comments, and then I want you to speak on your transition from working, your transition from where you were to coming to this.
Absolutely.
Listening to what you were saying you was doing earlier, it seems like it was a total change.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that transition again, giving people different ideas. So we'll be right back by about 4 minutes. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
2 minutes.
2.
Jae Tea wants some real.
Shawnee O'Neal's husband. You know, they had the storms in Houston and everything, and he came up because their church got messed up within the storms. And he's actually asking for, I think it was 400 of his
2,100 people to donate 2,100.
Oh, that was real?
Yes. And
I saw that. I thought it was like a joke.
no, was not
Get
a joke.
out of town.
And the dude actually
That's Christian,
did it.
though.
And he actually did it while he was sitting up there in a $920 shirt.
Oh, yeah. It was more than that. It was 2,900. Okay.
And he was asking for his people to give money to redo his church. Now, get this, while he did the video, he was actually at Joel Osteen's church. And I think he's worth $1 billion or something like that, but he didn't ask Joel for any money.
He said that's the church's
church's
money.
All right, y'all, we back. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Low.
You know what it is.
Again, hit those buttons, man. That button, that heart button over there. Hit that button for what y'all said. There it is.
There you
That's
go.
right. We got it. Yeah. So yeah, man, y'all do that again because it's gonna help our
Algorithm.
go up. TikTok, all you talkers or TikTokers or tickers, whatever you want to call it. All you folks out there using TikTok, go on over to Classic Conversations. Make sure that you hit that button and follow us there also, because we about to invade that space. We're gonna invade it the way we should. Got some comments over there, homie?
Got a few of them, man. Come to the event that he will speak about for your book. Okay, I guess that was addressed to a number one fan. Take my book, Mother Africa, too. She said Richard Nixon was a progressive in some ways. EPA started under him as well. Frank liked the way you did the shots at Mr. Duke here. Millennial said, Larry, where was y'all at when Delta and the other airlines got hacked because CrowdStrike ain't it? We needed y'all to swoop in like the Avengers.
They need to send that to a few people.
Number one says cyber course should be on every elementary school curriculum.
Indeed.
I'm conferred that one. Yeah, no doubt. Go ahead, Teasy.
All right. So, I just saw that one. Okay. So, Kendrall, in regards to getting to where you're at now with this partnership, basically diving all the way in cybersecurity, what led you, first tell a little bit about what you did before and what made you transition over?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with, the word fate, right? Like nothing brought me here but, the way things were supposed to happen. Because, as I said to you guys earlier, coming out of undergrad, I knew nothing about business, which is why I started working in management consulting as an undergrad. But I again, made time to work in finance. And then I worked in brand management. And then I worked in portfolio management. Then I actually started a company and invested in another. The investment was good. The startup failed. But then I, went into, security at Cisco. And, I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit, which is why, Larry and I were talking early on in my career. But, the timing wasn't right? Every time I would want to spin out and do something on my own, it just didn't work out for one reason or another. And so, while we're dropping gems, that the other one there to pull out would be, don't be afraid to fail. Because your failures often lead you to other paths you're supposed to be on. And so, I would encourage everybody to act on the things that you want to do. And, an acronym that I use, and I talked about it in our award acceptance the other night, which is to dare, right? And it's not the traditional definition of challenge, but to dare means to be diligent in everything that you do, to have audacity in everything that you do, to be resilient, and to execute. Right. And if you do that, you're going to fail some, but you're going to win a lot as well. And so, that took me to the Cisco opportunities, which, took us to Cyber Alliance. But it just came a point where I had added so much value to the corporation, that the light goes on. It's like, man, you're doing a lot for them. What are you doing for yourself? Right. And again, that's when the phone call was made and, the rest is history, as they say. But that's sort of the path and trajectory, if you will.
So basically, it was the want to do for yourself than to keep doing for them.
Absolutely.
Fate, of course,
and
they
you know,
also, but yeah.
I would say myself, but I was doing just fine as an individual. It's more for the family, if I'm being real about it. You know, you want to be able to leave something and put people in positions when you're gone. And you know, I was going to do just fine in the corporate world, but another real story. I was talking to Larry one day, you know, about corporate opportunities. And you know, the numbers were great, right, for most people. And Larry's like, man, you need to know your worth. And that shit hit me like that was a real conversation. And we were talking about some big numbers. And I was like, you know what, man, you're right. So, you know, we've been rocking ever since. So, you know, appreciate that, bro.
Now that's funny based on the original conversation when he first graduated. Your worth was a little bit
was more than what I could afford. His worth was more than I could afford at the time.
That's funny how it comes 360.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many people out there that actually don't know their worth.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's,
Right.
you know, and it's amazing. Some people that actually think they're worth more than what they really are. But it's
also true.
it's another side of the coin.
That's the damn internet.
Damn clicks. Them clicks. So you were speaking earlier in regards that this is a lane that you can get into that actually that doesn't always require college. Give a little background on that in regards to, say, someone that's out there, maybe they was in the military, maybe they, you know, working in corporate America, they started in the mailroom and came up, and now they want to change up. Give a quick
I mean, there are lots of
tutorial on how you
opportunities
can
for skill development now, right? And because of the internet, there's information all over the place. So much so that people who provide certifications also offer free courses now, too, to help prepare you for certain certifications. After a while, it becomes more so of an ability to solve a problem innovatively, more so than it is whether or not you have certain hard skills like degrees, right? That ends up playing a pretty big role. But there's so many opportunities to get certifications. There's so many different places that provide them at different price points, and some of them are free, right? So those things make it an opportunity where I won't say the barrier of entry is as hard to get into it as you would think it would be, considering the reward that's very big. A lot of times, things that have high rewards, it's harder, has a harder barrier of entry into it. In technology, that barrier of entry isn't always as high. And also, that's also why cyber attackers are so good too, right? Because the barrier of entry is low. You don't have to be rich and sophisticated to be able to hack into someone's system, right? You can do that from your bedroom with a few clicks, figure out how to get into somebody's system.
Let me get a quick question in from Frank. He says, what are you guys' thoughts on China and others building in Africa and depleting the natural resources and taking valuable minerals?
Well, man, you shouldn't have asked that. It's a public setting. You can't ask questions like that.
Okay, well, he asked a question.
I would say people in the U.S. have to understand that the continent of Africa has relationships with a lot of people, right? And in reality, Africa has been exploited by a lot of nations.
100%.
Not just China and Russia, right? And Africa has received support from a lot of nations as well. So because of that, as Americans, we can't be, or in the U.S., we can't ignore that other people have relationships too. And we can't necessarily criticize those relationships because we have the opportunity on a certain level to be able to create relationships on our own, right? So I think I like to sit in a place where I like to hold myself more accountable for what I'm doing, more so than what other people are doing. Now, is the point in the question, is it valid? Absolutely. Has Africa been exploited for a very long time? Absolutely. Is there an opportunity for us now to be able to engage in a different way where we can create a new narrative around it? Absolutely. So I prefer not to criticize more so than look at it as an opportunity for me to be able to provide an alternative.
Okay.
Right. So if you're not providing an alternative, you really can't criticize, right, on a certain level.
Copy that.
And I'll add to what Larry's saying there, and sort of draw a bridge to some things that we're actually doing. When that question comes up, oftentimes it's really trying to get at why aren't more people doing more for the continent, right? And ultimately, you know, what Larry and I want to do with our African Diaspora Invests summits is bring attention to the opportunities that are on the continent and be able to showcase them here in the United States in a way where we're giving not only just black people, but black people to start with, because we've been left out of so many equitable conversations here in the U.S. So we want to make sure we're bringing the opportunities and showcasing them. But for everyone to sort of put up or shut up as it relates to, hey, why are they giving them money or why are they going into relationships? Well, we're bringing opportunities for you to engage in, right? And so to Larry's point about taking action, you know, we try not to be judgmental, but be action oriented. And so this is one of the things that we're doing to drive some action.
Well, that's a great segue to the next question was, you know, to discuss more in terms of what is it the initiatives you all are taking now over to South Africa and the businesses and what you're trying to create for our people. I mean, I'd like to explore that a little bit further.
Well, there are so many things that we're doing now on the continent of Africa, and we're doing it from the United States. One important piece of our business model is we have what we call a channel partner program, where we create partnerships on the continent, and those partnerships actually help us grow, right? They help us understand the nuances. They help us understand who we need to know. They help us understand what we need to do and what we don't need to do. They help us understand the market opportunities. So as opposed to just going, you know, with our U.S., you know, confidence and bravado and arrogance about just doing it our way, it's our way of being able to connect with people who are actually in those geographies to be able to help us understand the best way to do business, right? So in doing that, you know, one of the stats that's always been kind of eye-opening on the continent of Africa, and in the stat in South Africa in particular, one job is supporting a household of 5 people, right? So if you think about the ability to be able to create bigger businesses that are able to hire more people, that impact is, you know, massive impact. And if you do it in a way where those businesses are connecting with businesses here in the U.S. or connecting with investors here in the U.S., now we're talking about shared prosperity, right? And that always isn't the conversation between U.S. and Africa relationships, is shared prosperity. It's always, yeah, I'm selling something you're trying to buy, or even vice versa.
Okay.
They're saying, hey, I'm selling something you're trying to buy, and nobody's really having a conversation of how do we work together, right? So I think for us, we're showing people how to be natural partners, right, and how to be able to collaborate in a way that can be monetized where everybody can benefit.
Yeah.
And you guys are in Atlanta right now because of what reason?
Couple reasons. I'll cover off on the first, and you know I'll throw the oop back to my partner. But we attended the National Black Business Conference last week and received the Pan African Diaspora Business of the Year award, and you know it was reflective of the work that we've done on the continent. But the work that we've done on the continent as Black cybersecurity company owners.
Hold on right there. Give me a little applause for that right there.
I'm waiting on it, man.
Yeah, man. Get a little applause for that right there. Congratulations, fellas.
Appreciate that. You know, it's tough sledding, but you know we've had some really good successes in different countries there, but also work here and empowering different types of communities. So we were really honored to receive that recognition. And the second half of the week, I'll throw it to my partner to explain.
So the second half of the week, you know, we're still in Atlanta. We've been in Atlanta so long, we might as well get a place to stay. But in all seriousness, our COO actually lives in Atlanta, so we do have ties here. And in reality, what's happening in Atlanta is an amazing example of what can happen across the world as it relates to the ecosystem that's created to be able to help build Black businesses, right? And we've actually been bringing people from South Africa to Atlanta specifically to show them how Atlanta does it, right? To show them the resources that are surrounded by Black businesses, to show them the intentionality about growing Black businesses, because we want to be able to create the environment where we've got an ecosystem like Atlanta. We can take ecosystems in South Africa, for example, and we can bring them together where everybody's playing in the same sandbox. Everybody who looks like us, right?
Okay.
And again, that doesn't mean that, you know, Friends of Africa and other people aren't also in the conversation, but we want to be intentional about being able to be inclusive, right, from the beginning, as opposed to going to big enterprises and establishments that might not always, and historically haven't always brought us in the conversation as a key resource, right? We wanted to be able to show and prove that we could do it ourselves, establish ourselves as a key resource, and then we can bring everybody else in to provide the support that we need to continue to drive growth.
And you have another event that's coming up.
Absolutely.
Soon as well, right?
So in October of last year, we launched a series of investment summits. We launched them with the Embassy of South Africa in D.C. We brought in a partner, the Africa Global Chamber of Commerce is actually based out of Chicago, to partner with us, and we wanted to launch a series of investment summits where we really started to break down some of the things that you mentioned before in terms of the trust, right? We wanted to be able to create more comfort. We want to be able to create more awareness and create more trust so that people like us would be able to feel comfortable making investments on the continent of Africa. Before we talked about just traveling, but we needed to take it a step further to where they feel comfortable, right, making investments on the continent of Africa. And they're comfortable because they know that they are doing it with the people that are trusted, right? They do it with people that have been vetted. They're doing it with the people that have been tracking businesses. They know how to speak to mitigating risk. They know how to grow businesses in those markets, right? So there, the opportunity to be able to invest is massive. We're all of a certain age where we look at the Googles of the world, we look at the Ubers, we look at Amazon, and we look at Microsoft, we look at Apple, and we're like, man, I wasn't old enough to invest or didn't have any money when those companies were young, right? So the opportunity to be able to invest in early stage ventures on the continent of Africa, and those ventures are the ones that are solving global problems, then now that's the opportunity for us to be able to get in and make that wealth, that transition of wealth that our counterparts have been making for decades.
Man, let me add a point there that just drives it home. Less than 15 years from now, 25% of the world's working age population will reside on the continent of Africa. So the things that Larry's talking about right now in terms of, you couldn't invest in Microsoft, and you couldn't get in on Google, and you couldn't do this or that. The summits that we've set up and that we're bringing to the States showcases the businesses that will be the Microsofts and Googles and Facebooks of tomorrow, because that's where the world's working age population will be. So that there will be commerce there. So it's really an opportunity for, again, our people and, friends of our people and friends of the continent to get in early and actually make an impact and, do something we complain about, quite honestly, and that's get equity in the ecosystems that are being developed globally.
I want to add some more piece of that, right? Because I think people in the U.S., we just don't, there's certain things that you just don't know that you just don't know, right? Like in South Africa, there's over 600 U.S. corporations that are headquartered in South Africa. Over 600, right? So if you think about an earlier point where, many of our generations, we've always grown up knowing and seeing Africa as a place of poverty and so forth and so on, that the secret is people have been going there for decades, for decades and decades, and investing and making money. It's been kept from us in terms of the secret. Now obviously people are traveling more, and the secret is close to getting out. But really, there's real commercial opportunity, and we don't want our people or our businesses or people that care about our businesses to be those that are left behind in that conversation.
Damn.
I like it.
Interesting.
I like it. Absolutely. Did we get all your stuff covered, said? Well, make sure we ain't miss nothing.
Man, you weren't supposed to say his name out loud. That's dope.
Yeah. I had to put him on blast because he went the whole through the whole commercial. He was telling y'all we need to make sure we get out everything covered there, brother.
Real quick, I know you said something about doing things from the U.S. and you're doing it in Africa. Does that mean you have like a team?
Absolutely.
Dope.
We've got teams in Africa. We've got partners in Africa. We have organizational partners in Africa. We've got employees in Africa. Absolutely.
How many businesses do you currently have functioning in Africa?
I have a call center company that's headquartered in the U.S. that's operating on the continent of Africa.
The first one, no, don't underestimate. Say what it is, brother.
It's a call center where we
It was the first one though, wasn't it?
That was the first one.
Okay.
The call center piece.
I want you to get,
that was the first
big up yourself.
I mean, I was one of the developers of the first strategies of an African business to be able to attract U.S. corporations to come to outsource call center seats to Africa, right? So when you get that phone call and someone's trying to make a collection or someone's doing customer service, I was part of the team that developed the first strategy to do that. And that's created almost 15,000 jobs across the continent now, between South Africa, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, and Rwanda at this point. And I still operate that business. I actually went out and started on my own because then I was doing it for somebody else, to Kendrall's point, and it just didn't feel right, right? Being able to utilize your skill set and your relationships to help someone else become wealthy and you're not necessarily benefiting in that way, never really sat right with me because I was always an entrepreneur, right? I started my first business in college, right? So because I was hard-headed, you know, to the advice of my parents to go get a job. You know, we pay money for you to go to college. You should go get a job, right? So I started businesses in college, and you know that was one of my first in Africa. Since then, we started Cyber Alliance, what we talked a little bit about here as well. And then I saw another problem also, where you know a lot of people talk about the lack of corporate board opportunities for Black people here in the U.S. You know, and that is a path to wealth that in a network that we've been locked out of for the most part, because that's a relationship-based opportunity. Sure. So I created a business to be able to identify Black people, to prepare them how to engage and do business on the continent of Africa in hopes of them being on the corporate boards of African businesses, right? So it's an idea of if you're not getting a seat at the table to the person who sent the question in, if you are seeing something that you want to complain about or you see something that you want to solve, you want a seat at the table, make your own table, and then you create your own seats. So that was one of the things so I pretty much dedicated my life to it, right, up until this point, in terms of making sure that I can create opportunity in the U.S. and on the continent of Africa.
Hey, man. It's fucking Black
Outstanding.
excellence. It's
telling you,
fucking
man.
Black excellence.
I'm telling you.
Duke, but yeah, Black excellence. Black excellence. We'll be right back, man. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Low. Shawnee O'Neal's husband, you know, they had the storms in Houston and everything, and he came up because their church got messed up within the storms. And he's actually asking for, I think it was 400 of his.
2,100 people that donate 2,100.
Oh, that was real?
Yes. And
I saw that. I thought it was like a joke.
no, it was not
Get
a joke.
outta town.
And the dude actually
That's Christian,
did it.
though.
And he actually did it while he was sitting up there in a $920 shirt.
Oh, yeah. It was more than that. It was 2,900. Okay.
And he was asking for his people to give money to redo his church. Now, get this, while he did the video, he was actually at Joel Osteen's church. And I think he's worth $1 billion or something like that, but he didn't ask Joel for any money.
He said that's the church's
church's
money.
All right, folks, we back, man. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Low.
And ask a cop one more time.
Last time. We ain't saying it no more, ask the cop. That's it.
It really just caught me. And when I started, I couldn't stop.
I know I didn't think he was going to do it. I was about to keep going or whatever. You got any comments to go over in there?
No, we good.
Well, Frank did say, congratulations, fellas, on your major success and recognition.
Appreciate it.
Not on the Duke and Cowboy stuff, though. I'm just telling you what he said. He's echoing my thoughts. So listen, we want to be able to give you guys the floor to let people know how they can follow you, how they can contact you if there's some type, investment opportunities or whatever they're trying to do. So start with you, Larry.
Instagram, Larry Yon, Y-O-N, second. Because I have a son who's a third, and my dad is senior. So Larry Yon, and it's the same on LinkedIn. Larry Yon, last name spelled Y-O-N. Put it in. You're not gonna bump into very many Kendralls. You ain't gonna bump into Larry Yons either. So it's pretty easy.
I totally believe that.
And if you do, it's probably white or Chinese. So, process of elimination, you'll be able to get to me pretty quick.
His name probably ain't Larry.
Right. Yeah, ain't too many Asian Larrys that I know of.
Yeah. So Kendrall, go ahead.
Yeah, but Instagram for me, the Kendrall Felder, really simple, Kendrall, because it's such a unique spelling. And then, LinkedIn, same thing, Kendrall Felder.
Now, is there an email address or anything, or a website that folks can go to if they need to,
Our website is www.cyber-alliance.com. And our email addresses are our first name, Larry.Yon@cyberalliance.com, and Kendrall.Felder@cyberalliance.com.
All right, people, don't say we didn't give it to you.
You got it.
Absolutely.
You can get to them.
I mean, and we offer free stuff, right? So,
oh Lord, you about to,
so if you're interested,
love free.
if you've got a business, if you got a website, and you're looking to see if you have any vulnerabilities, some cyber vulnerabilities on your website, I mean, we'll do that for free, right?
Oh,
it's like a home inspection. If you've had one, it ain't coming back clean. So, so the same thing on the cyber side, and a lot of times, us being able to look at your website, that's like the front door to your business, right? And everybody's got a security system, and they're like, oh man, lock the front door, but we'll show you where your front door is not locked, but we'll also be able to show you your side doors, your windows, your back doors aren't locked either. So, and that's for many people. If you think about black people, right? For us, those of us who like Kendrall, who stepped away from the corporate environment and became entrepreneurs and invested everything in their business, that's typically not something that you want to lose, right? So if you knew that I could sit down on my computer in 2 minutes, I can figure out a way into your business, into your bank account, into your client logs. I can get all those records in 2 minutes without having any special, technology tools. I don't need nothing special to be able to find that, right? So I can kind of, hackers have the ability to ruin your life, right? If you're an entrepreneur. And you think about the transfers of wealth. People say, oh man, entrepreneurship, the internet, man, you can make a lot of money real quick. You can also lose it real quick, too. It's the gift and the curse of technology.
And that is not a bait and switch. That is a real service that we will offer to people for free. So definitely get at us about that.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Again.
I mean, that's why we did it, man. I mean, when we came into it, we knew how much technology costs, right? And we knew that most businesses like ours, oftentimes, they either think it costs a lot, or they've been told it costs a lot, or it does cost a lot, and they can't do it, right? So that was one of the reasons why we started in Africa, is because we wanted to figure out how to look at our solutions from a technology perspective and how to communicate them to where people can understand. So our first customer spoke French, right? So we had to figure out how to translate not only in technology to something that's understandable in English, but also how to translate it into French, right?
Wow.
And neither one of us speak French. So if you think about, doing it that way, we really figured out and kind of uncovered how to be able to provide cybersecurity services in a way that's affordable and in a way that people can understand it. And if they don't understand it, we'll just be doing it for them, so they just know that they're safe, right? And that's where the trust comes in.
So there's some good legacy stuff you guys are doing. And just quick question: Are your kids following into this business?
They see it all.
See it all.
Yeah, you know, for me, I have a moment of pride. You know, I have my 20-year-old daughter. I have 8-year-old twin boys.
Okay.
And you know, quick story about the boys, man. And whenever the teacher asked them to draw different places in the world, they always come home with pictures of Africa. So you know that's dope, right?
That's super dope.
Because other kids are drawing Paris and you know the opera and Australia and all these other things. My kids draw Africa. So that's a dope period, a dope point. But my daughter took the entrepreneurial spirit and started a business of her own. So, you know, as a 20-year-old, she's out in the world, you know, giving it her shot as well. So,
that's what's up.
You know, not necessarily cybersecurity, but they're picking up the practices and the things that we're doing. So it's always great to see.
Gotcha.
Yep, and mine as well. I have 2 daughters that are in college that play college sports. And then my son, he was actually in Atlanta over the weekend too, because he was the youngest speaker at the Black Business Conference.
And he killed it.
and I believe the youngest speaker ever at the Black Business Conference, right? You know, shout out to the Next Gen organization summit piece of the Black Business Conference, and it was a good moment for me as a dad to be able to see your son be able to go into himself, be able to take challenges. He's a kid speaking to adults, right, about adult topics, and to be able to do it confidently was definitely a proud moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we had the Next Gen people here on the podcast a few weeks ago, man. So I got to see some of them again. Jae Tea the other day at the conference. It was real dope.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to go to our top 5. I posted already in the chat. Your top 5 Black historical figures that everyone should know. Your personal top 5 Black historical figures that everyone should know. Are you going, Dwayne? Flat. Yay, nay.
Okay. Madam C.J. Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Man. The hidden figures, mathematicians. I forgot all of them, 3 of them, they were dope. I mean, no. Man, that's tough. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
It's all right. It's all right. They will put you on camera.
You're embarrassed us. Don't do it. Damn it. Shit.
Hilarious.
My first is R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Donald Glover, of course. Michael Jackson. The first, actually Cisco. He was the first man to run on women. Literally. And my man Dang Dang that threw that head up on the great Sweet Tea Brawl in Montgomery.
Y'all can go. Y'all got the floor.
You ready, brother?
Yeah, man.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna give a mix, right? Because you know I feel like diversity is good. I'm gonna start with Fritz Pollard, you know, former athlete, did a lot to break color barriers for Black athletes, and so I'll start with him. Given that I was an athlete, you know, you have your traditional. You know, I'm gonna throw Malcolm and Martin in one because they did on polar opposites of the spectrum at the time where they were influential.
Absolutely.
You know. Whether you like this time in office or not, you got to throw Barack in there because you know to see it, to be it, you got to see it a lot of times. And he gave a lot of black kids, right, around the world inspiration, and so you can't discount that. And the last one I'll throw in there is a historical figure who isn't even you know, an American, but you know the more we learn about our people, I think the better. But you know, Mansa Musa from the Malayan Empire, the richest man in history, right? Like go look that up, and then tell us about our people. So you know that's how I'd round out my 5.
I like that. I like that.
He got you. Man, didn't you?
He said he wanted to go first. There you
It's supposed to go this way. It's supposed to go this way. So he took like 4 of mine. So I'm gonna show you how I pivot.
All right.
I ate a lot of peanut butter as a kid, so I'm gonna go with Eli Whitley, who invented the cotton gin, I believe. The peanut. They had all the peanut inventions. And then I'm going to go with I'm trying not to go with the normals and Nelson Mandelas and because we are all there on those. But I think I'll go a different direction.
Okay.
I'm not sure the guy's name. What's the actor on I'm Gonna Get You Sucker that had the fish tank in his shoes? I'm gonna go with that one.
Wayans. Wayans. Was it the oldest one, wasn't it?
Nah, he was the old school pimp. Played all the movies back in the day. I know what he's talking about. I just can't think of his name right now. Yeah, he had to start running.
So I'm gonna go there.
All right.
I'm gonna turn it back around. I think there's actually a lot of you got guys like Paul Judge. There's a lot of guys in Atlanta that are leading the way as entrepreneurs and showing good examples. I think historically you can even take it back to W.E. Du Bois. You can take it back to Booker T. Washington. You can take it back to Marcus Garvey as people that I find were able to do a lot in a time where they didn't have the beauty of having media, right? So to be able to have the power and the influence they had, to be able to engage with people the way that they did, to be able to mobilize is something that hasn't been done since then, right? From that jump, you had Malcolm and Martin that were able to mobilize, and then after that, it kind of fell off a little bit in terms of being able to get everybody on the same page and everybody, willing to commit. So I throw those names in the hat.
I like it. What you got, Teasy?
Like I said, I've been looking at this documentary on Serena Williams. So I'm dropping Serena Williams in there. Well, I just looked at the episode where she actually won the major while she was pregnant. That she didn't even need that to be a historical figure. And that just took it above the top for me. Marvin Gaye felt that his music touched people, and you dance or whatever. But if you actually listen to some of the stuff that Marvin said, it was a little deeper than just soul. It wasn't just music. It was a little different. Malcolm and Martin, right there. Was gonna say it because you had said it, but I'm like, I can't admit it. Right. But they right there on the same line, right there together, especially like you said, doing it from in different ways and showing it that you can do things differently and actually still get your message across. I thought was crazy, and they was doing it all at the same time. Barack, because let's face it, I mean, we hopefully looking at another historical moment now, but Barack becoming president is no way that he's not an historical figure, period. And I wanted to get on your nerves with this one.
Don't say it.
Yes. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Damn Skippy. Yeah. You had your chance. You couldn't say nobody from that school. Because ain't none of them done nothing. Blackley. Blackley. That's it for me.
Too funny.
I was going to say Richard Roundtree, but damn.
And I forgot to fact check mine. Eli Whitley created the
cotton gin. Yeah.
And then George Washington Carver was the peanut guy.
Yes.
Hey, while you're looking at that, I'm going to take 15 seconds. And I'm going to say, shout out to the music industry executives that were black men that came from the ghetto and, made something of themselves and gave us something to aspire to. Because even if you didn't land in the music industry, the things that they inspired you to do led you to a better place. And so, the Jermaine Dupri's, the Jay-Z's, all the guys who set in that era, I got to give them a shout out because I watched them on TV and I wanted some of the things they had and it drove me here. So shout out to you guys.
All that music those are my mentors.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't mean you had to be in music, but it just made you
and want more.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Taught you how to say it.
Right.
Throw money out the window.
You got comments in there?
Yeah. First, Colonel Davis there. Shout outs to Frank. Glad you had a successful surgery, brother. I don't know how many surgeries that is now, but I'm glad it went well. He says, gents, I have a former international classmate from Naval War College. He's an admiral in South African Navy, Musa Nakamunde. Great guy, lives in Cape Town. Just want to shout that out. Number one fan, guys, Fannie Lou Hamer, Shirley Chisholm, Jesse Jackson, Daisy Bates, and Alice Dunnigan. I know everybody but Alice Dunnigan. Tell me who that is. Honorable mention, Kimberly Bryant and Amelia Robinson. Honorable Lena has Benjamin Banneker, Frederick Douglass, W.B. Du Bois, Mary McLeod Bethune, Martin Luther King, and Jackie Robinson. Frank has Frederick Douglass, James Brown, Rosa Parks, John Lewis, Master Chief Sherman Byrd, the first black EOD tech bomb disposal officer in the history of U.S. bomb disposal.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Oh, Huggy Bear. That's what y'all talking about. Huggy Bear.
Huggy Bear.
Antonio Vargas. That was his name.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Millennial has Angelo Sykes, James Thompson, Michael Lewis, Phoenix Fire, and Dwayne Thompson. I like your list, too.
Yeah. Best list so far.
All right. I'm going to go with Bessie Coleman, first black female pilot. Go with Lewis Latimer, naturally famous inventor. Garrett Morgan, being our traffic light and so many other things. I just went blank. Who was the doctor that the first open heart surgery? Charles Drew. Charles Drew, another person I think is. And then, I'm gonna combine some music people. I like how y'all brought the music in there. I'm gonna go Russell Simmons. You know what I mean? We talk about some guys who changed the game.
Period.
Russell Simmons. Go Donnie Simpson. Everybody, I don't know if your age range, but remember Donnie Simpson, Video Soul, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Green-eyed bandit.
The green-eyed bandit. Yeah. Huh? What do you say? Oh, Mama Love.
Right. Same eyes, right?
I know, right? And everybody should know LL Cool J, the GOAT. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you can't end on that one.
Yeah.
You can't set it off on that one.
As soon as you said music, I knew his name was going to pop up.
He's the GOAT. What you want me to say? He's the GOAT.
Hey, well, listen, gents, this was seriously, this was dope.
Absolutely.
Shit, I've learned, for real. Appreciate you guys coming in and sharing your stories.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks for the platform. I mean, this is necessary.
No, this was absolutely phenomenal, guys. Real talk. Appreciate to say it. For always bringing some good folks, man. But this was really dope. I applaud what you guys are doing. I applaud black businesses. I applaud two black men that got together. You know what I mean? That could easily have done your own things, but you guys see a bigger plan, man. And that's just phenomenal, man. The fact that you all are trying to reach out to other brothers and sisters
That's
to
the part.
show them there's other options.
That's the part.
And I told you the story about how I was with my son. We were in Japan and we were walking around, and I was like, man, I said, we've been to all these different countries where we're always the minority. It's time for us to go where we're the majority. We haven't been anywhere yet, but we're the majority.
Fix that.
So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Absolutely.
To take my kids over there, man, and show them this other side. 'Cause there's a lot of just misnomers about it. People just, and you guys are proof that, we're missing out. We need to get a piece of that. So,
Just had the conversation last night about that is where I want to go. That period. That's where I want to go next.
And we're going to do a pod over there, too.
oh man,
Yeah.
super dope. Number one fan started off with that. She said, "Take classic conversations, Uptown comedy to South Africa." She started. I meant to
She
see that.
did say that.
Yeah, and I agree.
Simple. That's an easy one.
All right.
That's an easy one there.
There it is.
So
There it
listen,
is.
man. great show. Again, appreciate you gentlemen coming in. Glad of where you're at. Just hate the way that you got there. And
we ain't gonna lay that down.
And we're going to shut it down. We'll see you guys next week. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And As a Cop might be it next week. We'll see.
And we out. You did.